Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dice Warmers, a podcast where we talk about all things geeky and we occasionally have structure and coherent thoughts. I am Vass, and with me today, as always, we have Kaz.
Hello.
And David.
Ooh, yes.
I was waiting for it. Whatever it was going to be, I was waiting for it.
It's like bracing for impact.
Yeah. There was going to be something.
It was pretty mellow, I think. David, David, do you want to take another crack at it?
No, that's today's one. That's it.
That's my one.
That's
today.
Today's one. Next week they can hear another one. They don't get 2 per episode. They're not spoiled. Come on.
No,
maybe it's like Christmas. You know, our Christmas episode will do like 2.
Yeah, but not just for any day.
Yeah.
We'll have an ad break in between. Now I can say hello after that.
Ad break. We could just each do the voice of a fake advert. Yeah, sure.
We should create fake sponsors because we don't have real ones. We should create fake ones, like companies that don't exist that sponsor us.
Yeah.
Why not? Then we'll create fake Facebook profiles for those companies.
Just one moment.
That's too much work. No.
Yeah, no. I think we'd rather just not seem quite so sad for.
And David has disappeared, but is now back in frame.
I am back.
For those of you not seeing what I'm seeing, now we have cameras on, and it's way distracting. Like David is distracting without me seeing his silly face. Now that I can see his silly face.
Oh, I mean
that in the nicest way possible.
Yeah.
I have a silly face. I know that, but David is David.
I am.
And he gave me a thumbs up. David, it doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't.
I can't see you.
We have listeners, not viewers. So you can't do thumbs up.
Right, then I'll do an emoji just in case.
They can't see that either. It's ears, David. It's ears. Unless you're going to do a sound.
You can do an ear emoji.
Emoji. David is an emoji.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
The noises he comes out with, he is an emoji. Guys, anyway, should we get on with something now?
That term, ear emoji.
Ear emoji.
We should copyright that. It's going to be emoji for the blind. Sorry.
Fairly sure they already exist, but that's
Isn't that
fine.
ASMR?
Emoji for the blind.
I think it's something along the lines of grinning, sad face, crying face. I think it just describes what they are. Why, David? Why did you have to do the faces along with it? I'm sorry, guys, but this is not working out. Cameras are going to have to go off. I don't think they're working. Our listeners are not actually getting anything from us other than us describing exactly what David's doing. And
let's be honest, they weren't getting something anyway, Kaz.
They were getting at least something.
I mean,
anyway,
we have amazing viewership on the last episode. I think so far has 2 views.
2 views.
We only released it yesterday.
If you are one of those 2 people, I want to know who you are. Like, please contact us. What's wrong with you? Why are you listening to this? We can help.
I am actually very surprised that we released it on Saturday and Sunday morning we have already got 2 listens.
Yeah, and that's without any advertising, really, because apparently my other co-hosts are too precious to post it on their social media or anything.
Excuse me, but I think I will just. I
have a very small following.
I'm not going to explain my reasons to you.
I have a very small following. David,
27 followers.
27 followers on what?
On my Furry account. That's it.
Don't you have a Facebook?
I do, yes.
Oh, okay.
And
just checking.
Everyone already knows about this podcast on that Facebook already.
I don't know that. Facebook is weird. Like, their algorithm is... Anyway, let's not discuss our podcast like politics with people and bore them even more. So, people, what have you been up to?
No,
I know what David's been up to.
We just had the recent State of Play from PlayStation, with various different games being announced, and updates, of course, and the Pokemon Direct, if anyone has seen that. Any thoughts about that? Like, I've got a lot of thoughts about the Pokemon one.
I saw the Sony one, but I totally missed the Pokemon one. Because
I saw the Pokemon one, but I didn't watch the Sony one.
Let me update you then.
I'm a Microsoft Xbox. I don't have a PlayStation. There's no point in me watching specific PlayStation stuff.
I mean, there is a point, because you might see something you like and be like, "Ooh, I should get a PlayStation."
I am not buying a PlayStation. I already have a console. I already have the Switch as well. I do not need a PlayStation as well.
What you should do is have Rob buy a PlayStation.
No.
Yeah. If you can get them now.
No.
Like, it's probably one of the few advantages of being in a relationship.
No. That's, I think, no. Yeah, I think you've got your ideas wrong.
Well, one of the bonuses
for relationships or PlayStation?
PlayStation. Both.
Well, better gift to your loved one.
Back to the Sony conference.
Yes. So
I actually saw that live with David.
Yeah.
And I was bored for most of it, except for a couple of games, I think.
First, let's say you got Five Nights, you got Solar Ash, you got
I told you on the night as well, I really don't get the fuss about Five Nights at Freddy. What is it about that game that made it popular? I know it's streamers that made it popular, but that game, I'm gonna annoy a lot of people now, is stupid. Like, they say it's a horror game. It's not scary at all. It doesn't have, like, what's the theme?
I think it's just...
What's horrifying about it?
I think it's just jump scares, and if you were to watch it, you go, oh, let's watch this, and then they have jump scares.
But it's like cartoon characters that can't be scary. It's ridiculous. Anyway, sorry. Yeah. So they announced a new Five Nights at Freddy's sequel thing, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Full 3D, I think, which is different from all the on-rails kind of ones from the past. One of the big two things you might not have realised is Oddworld Soulstorm. That is actually on in April as PlayStation Plus exclusive. You'll be able to download that game when it comes out on PlayStation Plus in April for free if you have the. So I will be playing that.
That's good. That's good on Sony, and I really liked what they did with when they do like the enhanced version now of games for PS5. Mm-hmm. They give them for free to PS4 owners, which is cool, and it's something they weren't doing before. But I think it's Microsoft actually pushed them into that direction because they were doing it a lot with their games, so they kind of had to, and that's why competition is good, people, because it forces greedy asshole companies on doing things like that.
Well, I can't wait for one of the big things I like on the PlayStation 5 is event cards or activity cards. So I'm saying like I'm playing a PS5 game and I want to get to this one specific section I was on. I click this activity card on the main screen and I can go straight there. There's no loading screens, there's no problems or anything like that. I could just go straight on.
So it's kind of like Xbox Resume or whatever it's called.
But it's more specific to where you want to go. So if I want to go to the main map, click the main map activity card, done. I don't need to go through all the title screens, loading screens, anything. I go straight onto the game.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what Xbox was doing. Apparently Sony has to brand it a different way. Like, it's activity cards.
It's like you get little contents for it. But there is one thing that wasn't in the State of Play, but was announced just beforehand that might interest you, Kaz. Days Gone is the next PC PlayStation game.
Why would Days Gone interest Kaz? It's got zombies in it.
I just realised that.
Yeah.
Are you aware of Kaz? Like, do you know Kaz?
You know me. We've known each other for years now.
Days Gone is like the last games he'd play.
I have played zombie games. Apparently I'm really good at zombie games. You know that arcade game? You know, any shooting zombie game.
The one where you can shoot outside the screen to reload, like that type of game.
That sort of thing, yeah. Every time I play that, I win.
It's because you're so scared of zombies.
Because I'm so scared of zombies. I'm actually fighting for my life.
There's one that
I generally get quite far on those games, like 100.
Your brain goes into a literal fight or flight.
Yeah, fight or flight situation, and I definitely fight. I've gone so much. Like everybody I play with, I do so much better than them because I just genuinely feel like I am fighting.
They're all bragging.
No, seriously, it's terrifying to think. However, when you put me in a nice mellow game afterwards, I just shoot everybody.
I wasn't aware of your zombie phobia until we did that session in Call of Cthulhu. And I had
With
this
zombies in it, yeah.
Yeah, and you were like,
shut all the
freaking,
doors.
freaking
No,
out.
shut the door. Make sure nothing can creep up behind me. Back to the wall.
What session was that, by the way? Or was that a session I was in?
Very early on. I don't think you were playing with us.
I don't remember zombies in any Call of Cthulhu game. Only mummies come back to life.
There were some masks on your laptop on the New York chapter as well. Down at the GT house. Anyway,
oh, yeah. I remember that.
Back to the Sony conference. Was it the Sony conference that had the Abe's Odyssey thing?
Yes, Oddworld Soulstorm.
I love that game. I have so many memories tied to that game because I was playing that with a late uncle of mine who I loved. And it was like this game that we bonded with together because he was a big gamer, but he had trouble with like too actiony games. Like, he couldn't keep up. Yeah. So he would, I think I was like almost like a Twitch streamer for him. Like I would play and he'd sit next to me to watch me play.
It was like my dad.
Get like so into it, be like, oh, go there. Oh, jump there. Oh, use that. And it was so awesome.
At least he could direct you. Raider. Better than a Twitch streamer because he can direct you where to go.
He would coach me, really.
Yeah.
But it was really cool. And I think the first game we played was Abe's Odyssey. That was the first one, right?
Yes, that is the one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Abe's Odyssey. Well, it was such a good game. They don't make games like that.
No.
That's not true. They do, but they're far and few in between.
Yeah.
Because now it's usually, look at this generic football game we made again for another year to take your money.
There's never live service that will
live service. I hate that phrase.
I know.
Live service is, look, our game is unfinished. We're going to put it out and keep patching it forever, and we're going to charge you for it. Thank you, beta testers.
But at least
gamers are now beta testers. They release games in unfinished states, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna call it live service and keep patching it until it becomes decent, I guess, and playable."
What games would you say were good live services games, if there was any you had in mind?
I don't think I've played any who were a live service game.
To be honest, yeah, I mean, the last console game that I played.
Is Destiny a live service game?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I haven't played it, but I'm aware of it at least.
What are you about to say, Kaz? You've seen?
I played. Last proper game I played was Borderlands 3 when it came out, and I had absolutely no problems with that game. They have added things in, but there weren't any glitches that I was aware of that needed fixing.
Yeah, no, that's different though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was kind of disappointed by Borderlands 3, if I'm honest. But
he has problems with the story, I think, Kaz.
It is dreadful. It's a dreadful story.
It's hard to get along with, but it's not my favourite Borderlands game, I must admit.
No.
Which one's your favourite?
2?
Pre-sequel is quite amusing.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I like the pre-sequel. But I love the first one still. I always love the first one. But pre-sequel, I did enjoy pre-sequel.
There is supposedly for Borderlands 3 going to be a new DLC that fixes the story.
Oh, right.
That rewrites the story.
DLCs.
Yeah,
they've got a lot of DLCs. Yeah,
it's part of Season Pass Part 2, so you have to buy for it.
Oh, Season Pass, another word I hate. Season Pass.
Yeah.
Borderlands 2 did it right. It kind of said, yeah, it's £30, but you get everything, and the amount of DLC for that game is unbelievably.
Borderlands 3 has got so many DLCs already. It's not even been out that long. It's been out, what, less than a year?
I hate DLCs. I'm okay with expansions. Yep. Like, if they create, like, a big expansion for a game, they can charge it. It's fine. But, like, DLCs, I think, they incentivize laziness and greediness for companies, because they're like, oh, look, we can spend minimum time, make this stupid thing, charge £4 for it, and make a fortune.
Well, it's like
I was going to say,
Go
the
on.
DLCs in Borderlands a lot of them tend to just be like short stories that you don't have to play them if you don't want to. That's a choice you make. It's not going to impact the main game, but they're just extra snippets that you can play if you want.
Unless it's the secret army of General Knox on the first Borderlands. If you remember that was
whatever that is.
humongous. That was
Yeah.
But that was a hefty story game straight after the events, which is nice.
So just to wrap up the Sony conference thing, the last thing I want to comment on that is the preview we saw of the second part of Final Fantasy VII, the remake,
Yes.
which looked really cool. But again, it brings to light for me another problem with the video game industry now, that is releasing things in parts. Like, I so want to play a remake of Final Fantasy VII because that's my childhood, but I won't do it until they have released the full remake. Because the way they're doing it now, I have to buy 3 full-priced games, which is actually one game. And no, I'm sorry, I won't do that.
No,
as much as I want to play Final Fantasy VII, I think I'm just enabling them, and enabling them to continue doing this attitude that I don't approve, and I won't be. I'm going to vote with my money. I'm not buying that.
The one thing I would just like to add before we continue on to the next topic is that this is actually going to be a side story and not an actual second part.
No, it is a second part.
No, it's just a side story for this one. Oh, there you go. A side story. So it takes place between the part 1 and part 2. It's in between, and it uses.
I thought it's just they added some extra side stories, but the main game is what's there.
Yeah, they added some called Dirge Cerberus characters into it. A PlayStation 2 game, which was heavily panned. So
we should do our research better.
Yeah,
I blame David for this, 100%.
But yeah, it uses characters and enemies from that game, and they're just going, "What on earth is this? Like, are they trying to tell a part that's part of the second episode, or something in between?"
Anyway, yeah, I'm not touching that game as much as I want to. No.
Kaz, was there something that you wanted to discuss last week but could not about our first tabletop?
Very subtle transition, David.
It was a very subtle transition.
No one understood that we had this planned.
Nope.
This was so spontaneous and organic. So, Kaz, please talk to us.
Apparently, I haven't been speaking enough in the first half of this, but yeah, my question really, it was more so that our listeners get a better understanding of us. Was when did you guys first get into tabletop gaming? Yeah, of course it is. So they know how much to hate us. With David being a complete noob, they might hate him completely, and Vass, you're a seasoned tabletop gamer, so they might think jealousy. They can hate you for that. They've got no reason to hate me. I'm awesome. So yeah.
I was gonna say that actually, but then you stole my joke.
What was your first experience and first year of tabletop? Dan, Kaz?
Me?
My
first year, I don't know. My first experience of tabletop gaming, I was probably about 4 or 5.
No way! No, you weren't.
Yeah, seriously.
Wait, are we talking role-playing games or?
I was probably about 5, maybe 5 or 6 then, not 4. 4 might be too young, but I was probably about 5 or 6. I was very young. My mum was my GM, and because I've got so many siblings, I had 3 other siblings at the time.
They're called parents, not GMs, Kaz. They're your parents.
I don't know. She dictated my life up until I was about 18. Anyway, no, my mum was my first GM, and on really bad rainy days, we couldn't go outside and play, and that was my mum's favourite thing, was to send us outside so we're out of her way. With us, there's so many of us.
Sounds horrible. I know what you mean.
It's a different thing. When you have got so many children at a certain age,
my mother's favorite thing was to not socialize with us at all.
Well, so my mum used to just run these little games for us. So we'd have a pen and paper. This was way before like character sheets and all this other stuff. We'd have pen and paper, and she would always go. It was the first. I think it was the red box, but my mum had managed to pick it up cheap somewhere. So it was D&D first edition, and she used to just run stuff from that. And I was always a halfling rogue, always.
So you were
That's when you could only get a certain
mischievous.
number of races. Yes, that's when you could only get a certain number of races and a certain like classes and stuff. And I was always halfling
and some
rogue.
races were actually classes. So elf was a class.
Yeah. So
it wasn't a race.
I didn't realise till we actually
had an
played.
elf
I'm playing an
who,
elf.
Yeah, and they had the bow and arrow because they were essentially rangers. Elves were rangers.
Because they're elves. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're
That's what
elves. So
do. Everyone knows that.
But I was always halfling rogue, and that was it. My brothers
So
always played their own little
barefoot.
things. I was, yes. But that was before I knew about
David
him.
does not know who Tasslehoff Barefoot is. David.
Still doesn't know. He will eventually.
Is that someone from Lord of the Rings?
No,
it's not Lord of the Rings. Jesus Christ! You simultaneously angered two different franchises.
So many people annoyed
we got the Dragonlance nerds, and we got the Lord of the Rings nerds.
God.
And they're both screaming at you right now.
That's like when people see R2D2 and they think, I love Doctor Who.
Or even worse, they see R2D2 and they're like, oh, Star Trek is amazing.
Star Trek's awesome, yeah. No!
Star Wars, Star Trek. That's two different shows,
David, what have you done? You've started... You've kicked him off. Look, he went high-pitched then.
I'm going to say...
Speaking of Dragonlance, though, I got some good news. Well, I got some news. Do you remember a while back we discussed, I'm not sure if it was on the podcast, but we as a group discussed that Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman, they had sued Wizards of the Coast over Dragonlance. Mm-hmm. So it seems like that issue has been resolved.
Oh.
All the sides are like now hugging and loving each other. Like, oh, we solved it. Which means that the Dragonlance campaign book might be in the works.
Oh, I really hope so.
For 5th edition. And if it, I'm so
if
buying
happens, that. David can't read the book. I'm buying it. I am playing that. You have to run it. Oh God, I know the stories, but
but still.
Oh, the world is fantastic.
Oh man.
Oh, that would actually be amazing.
I love
talking about that. Apparently, my mum used to call me Boo Poo when I was a kid because I was exactly like her.
You're so boo poo.
My mum used. Apparently, I used to have this little bag that I used to carry around with all sorts of crap in it, and I used to just be dirty. No matter how clean my mum would make me, 2 seconds later I'd find dirt, and I was eating constantly.
And
I was
Kaz
the
would
gully
keep
dwarf.
like a dead lizard in her pocket.
My mum would not have been surprised if she'd found that. Oh, David, you need to read the books. But
we need to make it part of our book club.
Yeah, we do.
We do, yeah.
Just to read the first book and get...
Absolutely, yeah, you need to read all of the books, not the first one. Did you stop at number 1? What's wrong with you?
If he reads the first one, he'll definitely read
the
rest.
He'll be hooked.
There's no way.
Yeah.
And like the Visions of London.
Can you imagine if we go back now, Kaz, and reread the books and we're like, this is crap. We like this? Like, ugh.
No, we won't be. We won't be, because I read them a few years back, and they are still good.
Good, okay. I mean, I'm joking. Obviously,
they won't be.
They're amazing books.
They are amazing. They were based. So this is for David's information because Vass already know. But those books were based off of someone's D&D campaign.
Not
so someone ran a game.
Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman's campaign.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
So
really.
Wrestling Magier was actually Margaret Weiss's character. She played Wrestling Magier. How awesome is that? David doesn't know because he doesn't know what Wrestling Magier is. Otherwise, he'd be like bowing before his awesomeness.
No, I just hear this and going,
wrestling.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Nice inspiration.
Dalamar was also a nice character. I liked Dalamar.
I liked all the characters, but Tasslehoff was definitely my favourite.
I think my least favourite characters of that book series were what was the two river people? What were they called? You know who I'm talking about.
I know you're talking about. Yeah.
I think those two were a bit out of place.
They were a bit weird, but I mean, oh no, my absolute favourite is the wizard, who only knew one spell or whatever, and he.
Oh, you mean the Fizzban, yeah.
Fizzban. Absolute brilliant
He'd be like,
character.
Fireball. No!
He was brilliant. He didn't
I
know
have
any
no
spell.
idea
He
who
was a
the
wizard who
character is,
didn't.
but yeah,
He was
funny.
Let's not spoil Fizzban
No.
for David.
Let's not ruin anymore. But
Because there's a lot to him.
Is that where, with all those characters' names, is that where your obsession with funny character names comes from? Kaz? You know,
I don't have an obsession with funny characters, but I like
funny
to
character
do.
names are fun.
I like to do funny characters and funny character names.
I
Baggy
like
Pips was
doing
freaking awesome.
pun names in not so serious
Yeah,
campaigns that I know are
same.
going to be a bit silly, like Mix-a-Lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So
I've got
mix
Helmo Mayo Mace, haven't I? So, which is basically Hellman mayonnaise.
And by the way, it's still been a week since I played Elder Scrolls Online, and I'm still Guildford Buttock, and they still haven't taken me down.
Yeah. Okay. For those that don't know, we've all started playing ESO, Elder Scrolls Online, because David has never played it and Rob has never played it. So we've banded together to start playing that. And David's character's name is Buttocks.
Buttock, you know.
You can
There's
call it whatever you
buttocks.
want, David. You're still getting banned if anyone notices. Like,
Yeah, I've been really enjoying it. I kind of like the sort of the style of the MMO, this particular one, and the way it does a lot
Very
of the
open
quests
world.
and systems. And, I've just been in one town for the last 4 hours.
they do MMO quite differently to how other people do MMO, in the sense that you can really play this as a single player game. You don't have to. Well, no, you can. You can go through the whole story.
It's very difficult to. Yeah, it's very difficult to play single player if you don't sign up to their membership.
Is it?
Yeah, it's pretty difficult.
Why?
Because it just gets more increasingly more difficult as you go along. So you have to either have the perfect character, or have a band of people, or have the membership.
I mean,
yeah.
what does the membership add?
Crowns, isn't it?
You get crowns, you get extra everything, loads of extra things with it. To be honest, it's been a while since I've looked into it.
It doesn't help you with playing the game. You don't become better.
Yeah, you get extra. You get boosts from it. You can get extra experience scrolls and things like that.
Anyway, but like, it's a different experience, I think.
Yeah.
To other MMOs. Totally different to like World of Warcraft, which I've played for years.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I couldn't get really into it this last time.
Mm-hmm.
We
need to play it.
Yeah, but that's because you're playing Valheim. Yeah, that's your fault.
It is. It's not actually, because I bought Valheim, refunded it, then Phil said, "Guys, let's get Valheim. It's amazing." And I'm like, okay, I'll give it another try because it's you, Phil. And then I got hooked, and it's bad.
Yeah.
And by bad, I mean it's awesome.
It's so bad.
Bad
so
that you're hooked.
It's bad. Yeah, because I've logged in like 30 hours now, and I don't have 30 hours to spare. Apparently
you do.
Yeah. So I must be.
You do have 30 hours spare to play on a game.
I must be cutting down from somewhere else, like
sleep, food.
No, Kaz, I'm not cutting out on food. You know that.
Sleep, definitely, though.
Yeah. But going back,
I wish I had 30 spare hours to spend on a game.
Going back to the question that Kaz posed was, what was your first tabletop experience, Vass?
I didn't even finish mine.
Didn't you?
No.
Well,
I played when I was a kid a few times. My mum was my GM, and then I actually ended up having a break of probably about 20 years, and I started back up again in my 20s. And obviously,
you can't have a break of 20 years and start back on when you're 20. Like that's...
In my 20s, not when I was 20. In my 20s.
Okay.
Oh, so it would have been 26, 27?
I started playing when I was an embryo in my mother's belly. She would tell me stories.
Vass, just because you're deaf doesn't mean our listeners
your
are.
Stats and she goes about.
I started back up again in my 20s,
Yeah.
So late 20s, if you must know. And I was GMing for people. I jumped straight back in, basically as a GM. I barely even got a chance to play.
Story of my
Until
life.
GMs are very difficult to come by. And then I trained
I
up a
enjoy.
load of people to GM, and stole one of them to
A
be
lot
my
of GMs
GM.
complain like, "Oh, I never get to play." Oh, I love jamming.
I
I
hate it.
love it. Like I
I
complain
don't hate
sometimes
it.
that I'd like to play like some scenarios, but I love GMing. Like
You have
it's
to have
my.
the right players. I have discovered
I mean, I'm
with
stuck with you
the
guys,
group
so
that I have. Oh, piss off! With the group that we have, I am enjoying GMing with the group that I've
yeah.
put together of players. However, prior to that, I think I didn't have the best players available to me.
I know
I
what
didn't
you
have
mean.
the
Like
right enthusiasm
when you're
that
DMing,
matched my
like
GMing style.
when you're DMing people who are not really doing it for you, it's a tedious thing.
Yeah,
It's not enjoyable. But
all
I've been
trash.
blessed with a lot of great groups in my GMing life, present company included.
Yay!
Look at David
Hey, thank you.
smile. Oh.
Well, you've just made his day.
You have, yes. Oh,
Yeah, so my gaming virginity was lost when I was 15.
oh poor you.
Your
That's
gaming
so wrong.
virginity. Yeah, but if
Yeah.
we're putting it that way, my gaming virginity was lost when I was a lot younger. So that's what's wrong.
I was a
Yes.
late bloomer.
Yeah.
My
Yeah,
20s.
so I was in, I don't know how you call it in English. Is it high school? I was
Yeah.
15. What am I attending?
Competitive
15, yeah,
school.
high
High
school.
school. Yeah, that. So I have a real good friend at the time, Tassos, who is telling me about this game he's playing that makes absolutely no sense to me because A, it's not on the computer, and B, it involves like using your mind and imagining things. Like what?
What? Your
So
imagination?
I remember because we were returning from school one day, and because my house was closer to our route, we would stop outside my house, sit there, and chat for a long time. And he was trying to convince me
Mm-hmm.
because one of his friends was selling the rule book, the player's handbook to Warhammer, the role playing game, like
Oh.
first edition. He was trying to convince me to go halvesies on it because he couldn't afford to buy it by himself. So he was trying to explain Warhammer to me,
Oh no.
and I wasn't getting it. I was. I'm like, I don't know, like. So what do you do in that game? Like what? What? So someone tells you what's happening, so you're just sitting there. Like, no, it's not he says in the end, why don't you come like tomorrow? We're playing this other game called D&D, and a friend is running it. Why don't you come and see what it's all about? I'm like, all right, I was gonna go play some arcades, and be cool. Well, I guess I'll come.
And that's how Vass
Plays
became a
indeed.
nerd.
I'll come and see this D&D thing you talk about. So I went to this other guy's house that I only met like really briefly because he was also a smoker at the time, and we all teenage smokers. We had a club, we're cool, hang out together. So yeah,
Behind
so
the bike
he
stand.
he actually is my best friend, Sotiris. I've talked about him a lot. You know him from back in Greece, and yeah, he like introduced me to D&D, and we sat down and we made the character, and I think I made an elf ranger.
Cliche.
Mm.
I know, right?
Very cliche. That.
For my first character, and I remember leaving his house like 10 in the evening that day
Mm-hmm.
and walking home, which was like a 15-minute walk, and in my head I was like, this was amazing. Like this thing is, how do I, and internet wasn't a thing. You couldn't just go and Google D&D. What is it? Like, can I get books? Like, it was also mystical. Like, it was almost like a secret club that you were a part of. And I'm like, this is amazing. Like, I need this in my life. What is this? So we kept going back and like playing in Sotiris' campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually I stumbled upon the knowledge that there is a Call of Cthulhu RPG. And I'm like,
and he never looked back.
wait, you're telling me that my favorite horror writer has a role-playing game? Yes, where do I buy this? So we went from my home city to Athens because there was no gaming bookstore club thing in my hometown. It didn't exist. So me and a friend, we traveled like 200 kilometers, stayed there overnight, and went and did like a big shopping spree. I think I spent like the equivalent of 100 pounds now. But
Nice.
like add inflation to that and all that. And I bought like every Cthulhu thing I could find. And I remember on the bus drive home, I was like reading through it. I'm like,
Obsession struck.
Look, it says here that you lose sanity and your mind goes. And yeah, and that's it. And
That was
I'm
it.
now 41, and I haven't like.
Haven't looked back.
I haven't
Have
looked
you
back.
run any other game?
Yes, I've run D&D.
Because I don't think I've ever been in any game run by you that wasn't Cthulhu.
No, you haven't, but I have run D&D.
No.
I'm trying to think.
And you hated every moment of it because
No,
people
I-
didn't go insane.
I love D&D. But even my D&D games tend to be a bit Cthulhu-y. Like there's dark
Understandably.
cults and,
Understandably from you.
Yeah,
All right,
so
David.
that's my
Yes.
story.
Let's. Well, I mean, Vass and I know your
probably
story,
know
but
David's story, yeah.
we do know David's story. But let's hear it anyway. The listeners don't know it.
Honestly, I think wasn't it during I believe it was my third year of my masters in university. That's when I first started properly playing, but I knew about it about a few years prior to that. So I knew about it. I've sort of watched a lot of things about it. I was very interested in it, but never got a chance to play. I even got a chance to play in second year, but I said, nah, I'll be fine.
You
I'll be
said
fine.
no.
Nah, I'll be
Yeah.
cool. I'll go with the cool kids.
No, it's very much like I never went to anyone's houses at that age. It was like, no. But then I got some like say, oh come on, we're doing this. So I started to play say board games to start with, and it was sort of like a tease, like saying, oh, this is actually based on something, or we can actually try it. But I remember going over to
It's like the gateway drug.
I think
I played a
I
lot of
was
board
Elder
games as a
Sign I
kid
was playing
too.
at the time.
Oh, Elder Signs, yeah.
And then what campaign was it? I cannot recall. I think it was D&D.
It was Cthulhu.
Wait, what
D&D?
was your first game with us?
Yes,
It was Cthulhu
it was.
because you had Beaver Man, which I understand. I realise nobody else in this
Was
chat
it Cthulhu
understands.
or was it Simon's D&D
I
something?
think it was Simon's D&D to start. Yes, it was. It was my. We were playing the Starter Curse of Strahd.
Really?
So you lost your virginity to Simon.
Curse of Strahd.
You've got to stop saying it like that, because if you say it like that, I lost my virginity to my own mother. Stop saying it like that.
I mean, that's what Welsh people do, right?
I'm not Welsh.
No?
I'm not Welsh.
Hey, don't ruin my joke. Play along, come on.
No, I will not play along to this. No, god damn it, no.
I think I was playing
my incest joke is ruined. Damn it.
Yes.
Was it a drunken a drunken dwarf who became more functional when he drunk?
Oh, I remember that character. Yes, it was Curse of Strahd.
Yeah.
And you were after Baby Stabber.
I thought we did Cthulhu first.
Were you playing with Ben?
Yes.
So
yes, the paladin.
Our groups did
Ben
not
the
actually
paladin.
mesh.
Not
we were
initially.
all in the same party, but we
Not
weren't
initially.
actually in the same party.
I remember we met David at the bridge or something, somewhere in Ravenloft.
Yeah.
It's so fuzzy to me, even though it was like 4 years ago.
There were a bunch of skeletons.
I can't remember what I did yesterday.
You went Specsavers, right?
Oh, I did. Thanks, Vass.
Yeah. See?
Plug.
I bought a load of kitten stuff as well. Oh, it's a good job you're around.
From Specsavers?
No, not from
Oh.
Specsavers. They don't do cat glasses yet.
Oh, how cute would they be, though?
Cat glasses. Oh.
Glasses for kittens.
They would just go like pull them
They
off.
would not stay on their head. Let's be
No.
honest.
I once tried putting like a, what you call them, a collar?
Bow tie. Oh, collar.
Yeah, something like that to my cat. He went insane. He was like, "What are you doing? Why are you trying to kill me? Take it off!" And it was off in 10 seconds.
Whereas the opposite of my dog is I put a snood on her. And
yeah, but dogs are dogs.
I used to push my cat around in a pushchair when I was a kid. She'd happily sit in it.
Yeah, because she was
just
the queen.
I'd push her up and down the road because we only had a road. We didn't have gardens and stuff like that. But push her up and down the road and in this pushchair, it was great. She loved it.
I wonder if our listeners are cat people or dog people. If you're dog people, we don't want to hear from you.
We should put a poll up there. Shut up.
No, that's not true.
No. David likes dogs.
It's not like you're flat earthers or anything. It's fine.
Yeah. Don't go back to that topic again.
I love dogs. I love dogs, but I adore cats.
I am a cat person through and through. I am basically the embodiment of a cat.
You're the embodiment of a cat.
I would be a cat. Yeah, if I could get away with it, I would act exactly like a cat whenever I could.
If your persona was an animal,
all I could think
sleep all the time.
All I could think while you were saying that was you
don't.
in a litter tray.
No. They shit outside anyway. It's fine.
But you said if I could get away with it, I'd be a cat. So my mind went, yeah, cats in a litter.
Of course, your brain went straight to litter tray.
That's how my brain works.
That's how your brain works. Straight to litter tray.
No,
Good job.
No, you know what? I won't apologize for it. That's how my brain works.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
Thumbnail this episode is going
to be. What was that, David?
I know what the thumbnail this episode is going to be.
Oh God, no!
What, are we actually?
In a litter tray.
Are we actually getting a thumbnail this time around?
Yes, we are. Yeah.
No, we're not.
After the many weeks. Yeah. I was going to do a little rover with a hat and a little name saying Jeff on it.
As long as it is not Kaz sitting in a litter tray.
It has to be Kaz.
It will not be Kaz.
David,
in a litter tray.
if you value our friendship at all,
if you value our friendship at all, you will not do Kaz in a litter tray.
Kaz, why are you sabotaging this podcast?
Will not happen. There's no sabotage. Behave now. All right. Since there is no ability to segue.
No,
because
there isn't. As I say, we have
some segue away from Kaz.
Pissing in a litter tray. Go, Kaz. No, that segue doesn't work. Oh,
nope.
Man.
What was your segue going to be?
It was going to be chaosism. Oh, for God's sake, I can't say that word today.
Why would
I even attempt to?
Why are you pissing on Chaosium's name? See what I did there?
I see what you did there. I cannot, for the life of me, today I'm struggling with that word. I don't know why.
Chaos and an ium. Chaosium.
Chaosium.
Yeah.
That's fine. Give me 2 minutes and I will not be able to say it again. I'm struggling today. I don't know what it is.
It's not today though, Kaz, is it? Let's be honest.
It is today. It is just today. I can usually say that word.
So, I hope everyone is aware that the year is 2021 and it's not 2020, as I sometimes still think it is, and it's not. But that means that it's now 40 years since Chaosium released Call of Cthulhu. Yes, it was 1981 when they came out with the first box set of Call of Cthulhu and changed people's lives, and the universe will never be the same.
And your life?
And people. I'm included in people.
He was 8-year-old. I wasn't born yet. David wasn't born yet. So,
nope.
I mean, it didn't really change our lives.
I was 2 years old, and according to Kaz, I should be playing at that time.
You should have, yeah. If you've got parents that love you, then yeah. No, I'm not going down that road. I can't do it. I can't be as mean as you.
Can you say Cthulhu? Cthulhu. Now say mommy.
They've got all sorts of things for that now.
They
If
actually do
Vass has
have.
children. Their
They
first
actually do
word is
have.
going to be Cthulhu.
Oh, I'm buying my children the Call of Cthulhu coloring book
There we go then. See,
because it exists.
2-year-olds should be able to play it by now. By the time they're 2.
Isn't there
So
ABC
anyway,
Cthulhu as well? That
Huh?
little picture book, ABC Cthulhu.
ABC
There's
Cthulhu.
an ABC D&D. There's an ABC D&D book, and there's a 1, 2, 3 D&D. But I haven't seen an ABC Cthulhu.
ABC
thought there
Cthulhu
was.
makes sense because
I
it's
do
C for
think-
Cthulhu.
Yeah, but
And
A,
that's
B,
it.
C,
It just
D,
ends.
and D makes sense as well.
Does it exist?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
So
I can
Vass
find
needs to have children so that they can be mini Cthulhus.
Yes. So if you are an eligible
Okay.
female with reproductive organs,
Oh, it's called C
you can
for
email
Cthulhu.
it.
That's how you get a date, Vass. That's how you get a date.
Oh god.
Actually, you know what, listeners? Seriously, do it.
If you're a live
If you are interested in dating Vass, let us know.
okay.
Or
So build me,
David. Either
build
one.
me
Swipe
up,
right or
Kaz.
swipe left?
Build me up. Tell them about all my positive traits and
Okay.
some of my negative ones.
I'm not telling them the negative ones. I'm fairly sure they can listen to this podcast and
It's
work
because
out themselves.
I don't have any negative ones.
Oh
Kaz.
yeah, no negatives at all. Vass is awesome. He is, air quotes, my bestie.
Mhm. Makes the
Why
best coffee.
air
What is
quotes?
David mm-hing? Are you interested in him, David? Mm-hmm.
David, I like you, but as a friend. Sorry, dude.
That's fine.
I don't swing that way.
Well, I tell you what,
Any-
that's 2 birds with 1 stone. You know, if you date each other, you could just adopt.
No thanks.
No?
Adopt.
Sure.
So back to Chaosium, or as
Yeah.
Kaz likes to call her, Chaosium.
No.
So
There's a Q in it somewhere.
40 years, as all of you know, is Ruby in anniversary years, right? Everyone knew that, right? 1 year is paper,
Of course, yeah.
blah, blah, blah. So 40 is Ruby.
Definitely do that.
Yeah. So they're going to do a Kickstarter in April
Yeah.
to reprint their first edition box set. So what started it all, basically. And it's going to be proper box set, which I do love because I think we need more box sets in our lives. They were awesome because they included
Always.
maps and stuff in there. They could, So and they're gonna reprint a lot of the early stuff, like Shadows of Yog-Sothoth and the Cthulhu Companion, blah blah blah. The most exciting thing for me is they're doing a 40th anniversary print run of the core rulebook and the Investigator's Handbook, which is gonna be leatherettes. So they're going to be premium leather, possibly human skin. We're still talking about it. Possibly human skin.
I mean, I
And
don't see
if
why
there's no one
not.
donating.
The problem is they would struggle to find volunteers.
Volunteers? No, that's not how Cthulhu works. Sorry, it's sacrifices.
Well, I'm fairly sure that Kate struggle to find them.
And Mike Mason, who I spoke to
The wrestler.
yesterday, spoke to him.
You
I actually had
finally spoke to him.
You blush.
Yeah. I spoke to Mike Mason yesterday, and Lynn. I don't want to butcher her name. Lynn Hardy. And she was amazing. Anyway, so he said there's other top secret stuff that he can't talk about that are coming this year, though, and they're tied to the anniversary thing.
Okay.
And all of the box set apparently will have ruby dice in it. Get it? Because ruby.
Ooh.
Oh. Is it
And another big thing is they are finally reprinting the big 4 books, like the Lovecraft Country books. Because we all know the 4 big cities in the Lovecraft universe, David, right? We got
Arkham.
Arkham is one, correct, David? Kaz, what's the second one? And we lost Kaz. Come on, Kaz. You've played in this city. We played a Christmas adventure in that city.
Nope.
Kingsport, Kaz.
Kingsport.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then
I got
we
mine.
got-
David?
Then we got Innsmouth? Yes, David. You better not be llooking this online, David.
He is looking
Nope.
it up online. You
I'm
know
not.
he is.
I'm looking upwards.
And what's the last one?
Vass, I'm fairly sure you haven't said one yet.
The child of a great old one is born there. No. It's
Have we played
Dunwich,
that?
people. Dunwich.
Oh yeah, that's it. I've heard of them.
Oh,
I've heard of them. I'm not very good at remembering
Yeah.
anything.
So they're re-releasing these 4 amazing supplements. I used to, I still own Arkham and Innsmouth. I could never get a hold of Kingsport and Dunwich because they were very limited print runs, and by the time I got into Call of Cthulhu, they were out of print.
Wow.
So have you pre-ordered these then?
No, because they don't exist for pre-order yet.
Oh,
I will the second they.
yeah. I was gonna say when
The shelf
are
will
they?
have a very nice.
Do you know
cover
when
on
they're being released or?
I do know where they're being released. 2021. It's
That does not help.
And nothing else.
well, no, but that's all they could share with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
So are you getting like all of the fancy ruby set of everything? How much? Any ideas how much you think it would be?
I don't know. The Kickstarter launches in April,
£500.
so I'll tell you in April.
Yep.
Oh, it's Kickstarter. Oh, okay.
The
Yeah.
Kickstarter is just for the box set.
Mhm.
Okay.
The rest are gonna be like proper print runs and all that. So I'm really excited about 2021 in Chaosium.
I know.
Sounds
Yeah,
like
I know.
it's going to be
Shocker.
a heck of a year. Yeah, I know. We would never have expected that from you, Vass.
Oh, they did this amazing panel about like books and how they influence your gaming. Like either books you use as inspiration for a scenario,
Mm-hmm.
or books you use as reference to make a scenario. And they recommended like I have now an Amazon wishlist that is about 20 books long. And
I'm not
Let me-
surprised.
I mean, every book they recommended was like, oh my god, that's so interesting. I gotta have that. For instance, Mike Mason recommended The Book of English Magic. Who wouldn't want to read that?
Oh,
Wrestle
yeah.
your way
They did
through
it.
it.
They did a TV show based on that. It was alright.
Lynn Hardy, who wrote the new campaign of Call of Cthulhu, the Children of Fear, that I plan to run for you
The
guys
one
at some
that's
point.
just recently been released.
Released. So she went through like all the reference material she used for India,
Okay.
and I've got so much reading material now. Like Foreign Devils on the Silk Road: The Search for the Treasures of Central Asia. I think Rob would enjoy that actually.
Oh,
He enjoys
invite
historical
him
things.
again. Oh,
Rob's our unofficial.
I think he probably would. Yeah, he's.
No, I mean,
loving
he would-
Cthulhu,
I mean,
so-
he would enjoy the book, like reading about the real historical things
Yeah.
about India
Well,
and
he
Central
isn't
Asia.
was trained up to be an archaeologist, so human
And he
history.
gave
is
that
his
up.
thing. I know. It's stupid.
At least you
Yeah,
can use it in
so
general knowledge.
that was my evening last night. It was amazing.
Mhm.
They did all these panels, and it was great. And I have like a billion books recommended here. Some of them are historical, some of them are fiction.
Well, if we're talking about what we did evening last night, a couple of things. I mean, I watched the Pokemon reveal for the
Yeah.
new game, which
Mhm.
I mean, they're basically re-releasing 2 games that are already out, but I believe they're
Yeah.
changing things up. So
They're adding platinum content in there, so where you would have got in platinum, you're actually getting in diamond.
Are
and
those
pearl.
games you've played, Kaz?
I've played all of them. I've played since they started releasing them on Game Boy and stuff. I have played all of them because I had, with my first DS, I had an R4 card, so it had a Game Boy emulator on it.
All right, we call that
Um,
piracy. Like FBI will be with you shortly.
the British
FB.
equivalent. It was a long time
MI6.
ago, and I didn't actually steal them. I was just given them by somebody else. So,
Taking a statement, anything you say will be used against you, just so you're aware.
so I've played all of them. All of the games since I haven't played the very first two. I think were like red and green or something like that. But I've played all the others.
So is this
I
new
think it was
Pokemon
blue,
game
red.
coming out on Switch or all consoles?
Those two are coming out on Switch, and then they've got an open world one, which is like Breath of the Wild. Yeah, which seems kind of strange. Like when I watched it, it made me feel more like I was capturing and forcing animals into slavery. More than
That sounds
any other
amazing.
game. More than any other game, that one made me feel like I was doing it more. Pardon?
You usually instigate battle before you capture something. This one, it was just in the tall grass and throwing
You basically
the ball.
go in, you throw a ball at them and capture them. And I just felt like I was being more cruel to animals doing it this way than in any of the other games. I don't know why.
But they're not animals, they're Pokemon.
Which are
also,
essentially wild animals.
In
In Sinnoh region, they are wild animals.
Well, in that case, you're a horrible, horrible human being if you play that game.
Know. I'm a horrible human being if I play any of the games because I'm instigating capturing animals and using them to fight each other.
It's basically like modern day cockfights.
Yes, it is awful, and I didn't realise until I watched this how bad it actually was, and I was like, oh no. And now I can understand why my mum never let me watch Pokemon growing up. My brother's kept throwing ball at the cat.
Yes.
I read some of your comments about the graphics of the game.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't say I agree.
You can't say.
I liked it. No, like the screenshot you posted.
Yes.
It looked fine to me. Like I didn't feel like the characters were out of place.
I think it's like I really like the pixel art, the backgrounds, the environments, the trees, everything. But then as soon as you see the characters, they kind of, I think they look from a different game. Whether or not that's just because they're going to add another layer of polish on top of that.
I was going to say, is what we're seeing now like close to release, or
it's supposedly out in summer. That one.
Summer this year?
That's not this year.
Yeah, Pokemon Diamond is out.
Oh, yeah.
Diamond and Pearl is out this year.
Yeah. I thought the one you posted was from the open world one.
No, that was Diamond and Pearl. The other one.
I don't like the graphics from Diamond and Pearl because it's like, what's the word? Chibi or whatever it is? Chibi. That's what they've done. They've basically made them all look like Funko Pops. Really small, like kind of rounded bodies with rounded heads and stuff and massive heads. So I'm like, I'm not really sure I know they've always had like big heads because that's just their style. But these ones, I'm not sure I like the look of it as much.
I don't want to say this, but it looks like a Wii game. It kind of reminds me of Wii game.
It's the same.
I'm not too fussed either way.
So you're not going to play them anyway.
No,
you say probably. You're definitely not going to play it.
I mean, unless something miraculous happens, like you gift me a Switch and the game, then I probably won't play it.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be pretty freaking miraculous. I'd have to win 2 because I'm fairly sure that the first one would be stolen away from me without even being given an option.
Do you mean the Switch or the game?
The Switch.
Yeah.
I mean, the game would be stolen away from me as well. When I say stolen away, asked to be borrowed.
And never returned.
And never seen again. Yeah.
We all know how that goes.
Yeah, but, you know. But, yeah, as far as the Pokemon reveal, I am looking forward to them. I will play them because I don't know.
Avid fan?
Because I've played all of them. I can't stop now. It hasn't put me off enough. Yeah, it hasn't put me off enough. No, I like completism. I haven't been put off enough to not play it. The open world one scares me because I worry for my own morality what this means to me. But then I always think back to
have a morality.
In the ESO, I rob people blind, so
exactly.
So I always just think back to that and think,
stopped.
You know, what's capturing animals and making them fight each other against thieving from people?
I realize now we've been 1 hour in and we haven't talked about our campaigns at all. which I'm fine with, by the way. We don't have to do that every week.
No, unless something did miraculously happen in this campaign.
Actually, the campaign we usually don't talk about, which is Odyssey of the Dragon Lords, that me and Kaz are a part of. We had an amazing session.
We did have a pretty amazing session.
Oh, man. We almost died. We almost had a TPK. Kaz, trust me, we almost had a TPK.
We almost had a TPK. Like, bearing in mind, I'm the barbarian. My health is 46. Right? I'm pretty high. For a 3rd level character, that's pretty good. And with one hit from these guys, I went from...
We had a party of 5 3rd level characters. And we went against people who've played D&D will know how terrible this is. 5 black puddings.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
David doesn't know what black pudding is.
No, I know
D&D
what they are.
terms.
They're Pathfinder and they're deadly. Very deadly.
Yeah. So with one hit, it was the poison damage the most. 18 poison damage, 6 hit, or 3 hit because I was enraged, so it was...
And then these things are immune to like everything. Almost.
Well, my axe, my great axe, +1 great axe is damaged beyond repair now.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to start using my mace, which, considering my character is called Mace, and she likes using a mace, she's never actually used it in the game. But
unless it's that sort of bottle of mace.
I might have to start hitting people with my longbow.
Weapon. But the good thing now is that we're closer to reforging like the legendary weapons of old and whatnot. So we'll have some new weapons soon.
Yeah, I doubt any of them are going to be great axes.
Why not?
The great axes.
Well, so far we haven't really found anything that would replace my great axe as a good weapon.
I think we get to make requests.
Oh, really?
When the guy forges, because
my character
he has to forge our new weapons.
She just wants dragon egg. So far, I've got a squirrel pet, a friend, who is actually a gnome, but been turned into a squirrel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? And I've got a bag full of basilisk eggs, which I'm worried are going to hatch any day now. And I nearly caught an elephant last game.
That was amazing.
So, an elephant was randomly summoned out of thin air, and it was given a choice, right? It was either going to run in and attack the black puddings or run away. And because of what I rolled, it ran away.
Okay.
So I chased after it. Now imagine a giant minotaur with
who was raging at the time,
gore and stuff hanging from my horns. I was raging at the time, chasing after an elephant in a giant crypt.
Trying to calm down an elephant.
Trying to calm an elephant down in a giant crypt with like proper steam coming out of my nostrils and everything because I was a raging minotaur with blood and guts.
Surprisingly, it didn't work.
No, surprisingly, it did not work. It disappeared instead. The magic wore off and it disappeared. But that was funny.
That session was really good. I liked the pacing that it had.
Yes.
It felt really nice. And we went to see a play at the theater.
Oh, God. What? It started off with a load of barrels rolling down a hill, right? My minotaur caught one. All right, Vass had to go.
Sorry, can I interject something?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. It all started because we were looking at the town map and we're like, well, where haven't we been? Oh, what's that? The amphitheater. Huh, Theo, are there any plays going on there? Yeah,
that was your fault. You said
we'll go watch a play. It wasn't my fault in the sense that I wanted it to happen. Yeah. So it wasn't, I intended it for it to happen.
So we were heading up there.
Now,
and this wine cart had tipped over and all these barrels were rolling down the hill, hitting people. No. My Minotaur jumped to action, caught one under her arm. Right? Mm-hmm. Then Vass, being a Minotaur as well, tried to catch one and it just smashed full body against him. So he's coated in wine in his best clothes because he was going to the amphitheater.
I was dressed up for the amphitheater.
One of the other characters did an acrobatics thing. He jumped on top of the barrel, kicked his legs the other way, slowed it down, and was like basically riding this barrel down the hill, standing on it.
So everyone did amazing, but
it was amazing. Oh. And then the other one...
did you get let into the amphitheater?
Yeah, he had to go back and get changed because he was
Did you get let in?
And it's a good thing I did because the most sexiest satyr then started flirting with me. That's how my character sees it. She was actually seducing me.
She was weird thing. Him. But history dictates that apparently they collect people as pets. So they were basically just looking
I'm
for him
fine with
their
that.
pet bison.
I'm fine with that. I've been a pet before. It's awesome. What?
What?
No, sorry.
What was that?
That's not what I meant to say.
Excuse me. Can't brush over that.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, for the podcast.
Yeah. No, we need to hear
My
that
goodness.
story one day. But
There is
our
no
listeners
story.
don't.
No.
The next
We
week
need to
we'll
hear it.
the
Our
story
listeners
of how
don't.
that happened.
But it was a good game. It was a really good
It
game.
was a good game, and I'm really excited about the
That's good.
continuation of
Yeah.
said campaign.
It sounds like every week you enjoy it, so that's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, every
good.
week I'm getting a
Very
new
good.
pet, apparently. I don't know how that's going to happen. I'm
Maybe
just
a
going
pet
to start
master.
collecting
So
things.
is one of the satyrs now getting a new pet.
No!
And it's me.
Oh, no.
Oh, man. It is a fun game, though, and I think it's like 50-50, 50% us and 50% feel being a really good gem.
Oh, definitely. He is a good
Fantastic.
gem.
Yeah. Mine was okay. It was alright.
Are you still sieging, David?
We
Let
are
us know
still
when the
sieging.
siege ends in like a month or two, and we
It's
can
going to
pick
end
up.
next week, supposedly.
No, it's crazy
Only-
talk.
I know.
Only 6
Really?
sessions.
Yeah.
6 sessions. What is wrong with you guys? Why would you let it drag out that long?
Well, we're at the end
Because
now.
what
We're
you
at the
said
final
last
week.
time was that it was your choice.
I know.
That's the worst thing. You've chosen to spend 6 sessions doing a siege.
Did you say that this adventure is nearing its end now, David? This
Yes,
campaign
it
arc.
is.
Okay.
It could end in about 2 and a weeks, 2-3 weeks, but it could finish in
Depending
2
on
weeks.
the siege.
Yeah. It depends if a cannonball may hit the NPC we're trying to kill. It may just end there. Like you
So
can't
what
dodge
happens after you finish this arc? Are you stopping Pathfinder, or are you
the
continuing?
GM has said he will stop Pathfinder for a bit and carry on with something else.
Okay, even your GM
Uh,
on board.
I
Is that
think
gonna-
I'll.
I'm sorry. I'm
He's
sorry.
calling his players. It sounds like they just want to sit around doing a siege all of 6 sessions. He's probably
although
raring
we
for
actually
They
did.
got spreadsheets for crying out loud.
Oh,
I
he's
know.
probably
But we
he
actually
probably is
did
bored, to be
something.
honest.
Can I see that spreadsheet, David? Is it terrible?
No, it's on Foundry.
Damn it.
Take a
But
screenshot next
we-
time. We want to see
I
it.
will. To be honest, it was actually a good session because I managed to avoid detection in a sewer. But
Did you cover yourself up with sludge? Let's call it sludge.
that was my first thought. Yeah, I
Sludge
thought I
is
would
what it's
blend
actually
in with the
called in the
bricks.
real world.
I was gonna say, Kaz, what's the official name of that? Because you'd know.
What?
It's sewerage. The official
Sewer.
word is sewerage.
Do you remember that scene in Predator where Schwarzenegger is covering himself in mud? Sorry, in mud, so he won't get recognized. That's how I'm picturing David, but with sewage.
but the issue was my friend in it, Siora, kept getting caught. So I kept getting back to her to grab her out, and then she fails her acrobatics and athletics roll, and then still
So
gets captured.
getting caught in what?
What by what?
So there were some enemies in there, guards.
See, David, you forgot to mention the enemies. So
Yeah,
it was
okay,
hard
cool,
for
I
us
was
to
thinking-
get context.
Was she just like
Yeah.
stuck in the mud or something?
Yeah.
Her legs
No,
tangled
she-
up in something?
I was thinking like a mud monster in the
Yeah,
sewers.
same.
Well, kind of, yeah. It's like a beach.
Oh, they were mud monsters. They were poop
Uh,
monsters, basically.
They were living in the sewer for a bit.
Living in the sewers, they were poop monsters.
Yeah.
The
But
poop
no,
monster's gonna get you.
we kept.
Actually, that kind
she
of sounds
kept
quite terrifying.
failing. She kept failing
In
her
my
rolls,
line of work,
and
that sounds very terrifying.
but so
Oh,
it,
I can't believe I forgot that, David. I'm so sorry, but I'm so excited about this.
yes, go on.
I was talking to Mike Mason last night. I don't know if I told you guys. I'm talking to
The
Mike
Yes, you
Mason
have,
now
yes,
because
you
I'm
have.
like that important,
The
and
wrestler,
I'm
yeah.
speaking to Mike Mason.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, and I'm like, Mike, hey, mate, Mike, what's up?
Mikey.
No, I didn't say that. I was like, Mr. Mason, Mr.
Please,
Mason.
sir, please. I'm so enamored by you, sir. Please.
Anyway, I was telling him
I
that
recall it.
me and my group were having so much fun playing like gangster adventures in Call of Cthulhu because
Mhm.
they're awesome.
Yeah.
And I told him I was asking me if he had played Little People. You remember Little People, the one we played? Yeah. And he said, "Oh yeah, it was years and years ago, and I don't really remember it." And I'll go, but now that you mentioned it, I'm gonna go back and reread it. But he told me that there is a gangsters like anthology in the works of gangster related scenarios. And I'm like, yes,
Cool.
Yeah, so really
I'll
excited
I'll
about
run
that.
a long campaign of that until you have finished off what's going to happen to Dr. Shelley.
Yeah, no, that's going to be for covering for Tashi's Cthulhu campaign when she can't play. Yeah.
Wait, what? What was that?
We're playing the gangsters Cthulhu thing when Tash can't make her Tuesday game.
Misses the RP Haven game every few weeks, so we do a one shot in between.
That's interesting.
But apparently now she's missing the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, what?
That's fine. She's got to work. Unfortunately, that just sucks for her.
Yeah. When I go back to work, I'm hoping that I have my Tuesdays off and my Sundays. Hoping. Fingers crossed.
But that's when the government decides it wants to reopen shops. So
I mean, that far into the future, we'll probably be living in space colonies, so it doesn't matter, David.
I hope it's not that far in the future.
When we have like normal lives again. But they won't be normal because the ant people will have invaded Earth.
No.
And what?
Don't like ants.
Well,
ant people.
Add that to
then
zombies.
join the resistance and fight them, Kaz, like the rest of us.
I will.
Come on.
However,
ant people.
David, I've got a question. How can you not be enjoying not working?
Money, Kaz, probably?
Alright, yeah, money is a thing, but like considering where he lives, I'm fairly sure that his landlord is going to be forgiving.
Yeah, forgiving.
Yeah, they're going to be pretty forgiving and considerate. It's not his fault, right? But
and we're not saying David lives with his parents, but he does.
Yeah.
You might have ruined it because But like, how can you not be enjoying not working? Like you've got
because he's living with his parents.
I want to do things.
He's forced to watch all the TV programs, Kaz.
No, actually,
he's not forced.
I do enjoy
them. He enjoys watching shows about
I was watching
boilies and
Antideck last
crockery.
night. I loved it. Oh yeah, the pottery challenge, very good.
Actually, I did look up what that was, and one of them, it was so thrilling, Vass. They had to make bricks.
Bricks? No way!
Yeah, they have to do it properly.
Sorry, I can't get excited about that.
No, me neither. They were making bricks. I was like, this is not enjoyable. How is this fun? They are making bricks. So basically, picking up the mud, throwing it as hard as possible into the square,
and then baking it.
And then taking it out again. No, they weren't even baking them. They were literally doing that over and over and over. And they were allowed to replace. They had to make like 5 of them or something stupid like that. They were allowed to replace the ones they screwed up with prettier ones later down the line.
I mean, there's geeky things, and then there's this thing.
I mean, come on, David. Bricks.
But that's the.
I just realized we are out of time. I think
we are out of
podcast. We should wrap it up.
I apologize. Firstly, I'd like to apologize to anybody else who is watching people make bricks. You do you guys.
Bricklayers and bricklayers, you are amazing. But that's not what we're talking about.
That's not what we're talking about. But you guys, you do you, right? If you like watching people make bricks, then enjoy watching people make bricks. It's not for me, but that's that.
Yeah,
anyway,
live and let live.
Yeah, let's have our wrap up then, David.
Go on, David. Now we can, David, keep in mind that we can actually see you now. We're gonna watch you, me and Kaz, do your outro very, very closely.
Come on then, David. Let's
go.
Let's see it.
I'm getting quite uncomfortable now.
A little bit now. It's so
I think this is time for us to end this very long podcast. And the staring eyes.
He's proper squirming. His shoulders
the reflections
are
in the glasses.
Right up to his shoulders are right up to his ears.
Oh my. Oh,
come on, David.
Okay. So that was it. That's the end.
Oh okay.
No.
You did it already. Oh.
Yeah, I did it. And as to say,
it was to wind him up.
It was very uncomfortable. You staring at me. I felt hot and bothered.
Good. That was our intent.
I wasn't even wearing the jumper.
Anyway, thank you very much for listening to us, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you all for tuning in. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.